Hello, viewers, and thank you for joining us for another episode of the Leading Lady series of Dataquest. The popular sentiment now goes that female entrepreneurs should only be called entrepreneurs instead of attaching their gender to it. While we agree with the sentiment, it becomes extremely important sometimes to highlight the stories of successful women entrepreneurs to encourage other women. Today, we are going to speak with one such woman who has truly made a mark in the industry. It's a pleasure to have with us here today Ms. Achal Khanna, the CEO of SHRM India, APAC and MENA. Hello, Achal. Welcome to the Leading Lady series of DataQuest. It's a pleasure to have you here with us today.
Thank you so much. And I would say equally important as you, who is talking to me and who's doing such a great job running DataQuest and interviewing, you know, not so important ladies. Means even you have made an equally important mark in the industry.
That's
So,
a lot.
I would say is I will talk not more about myself, but for my organization. Like India celebrates 75th year of independence. SHRM will be celebrating 75th year of existence. And what I feel very, very proud about is that from the day of inception till 75 years, one thing we have maintained is the positioning that we are the true thought leaders in the space of HR and the work and the worker and the workplace. We are a membership organization. We have 318,000 members in 165 countries. We influence 1.6 million professionals across the globe. And that is the power of SHRM. We are the largest membership organization across the globe, spreading all the good knowledge, content to the professionals on how to improve their productivity in the work, the worker, the workplace. So that is what is the power of SHRM. With due humility, I would say the number two, there are many organizations which are doing such great work, but the number two, number three, number four organizations which exist in this world, if we combined their membership base, their revenue base together, they don't come close to SHRM. With due very strong role working, we are a not-for-profit organization working with big enterprises, governments, but for us, when I'm saying we are a membership organization, for us it is very important is the individual, because organizations can support themselves because they have processes and procedures in place. Governments can support themselves, but the individual is very, very important to us. So the support which we provide to the big multinationals or organizations or enterprises, we give the same kind of a support through our membership. You become member of SHRM, we support that individual with the same kind of enthusiasm and vigor, because that individual needs us much more than the organization. We play a critical role in advocacy. I can proudly say we play a critical role because we are an American organization. Capitol Hill works very closely with us, but we also play a critical role. The capacity building organization, Mission Karam Yogi, we have played and we are still playing a critical role there too.
Thank you, Achal. I don't think anybody else could have, given it, who put it in a better way about what SHRM India does. I mean, and since you're too humble to talk about yourself, I'd like to tell my audience that Achal is responsible for building SHRM India's brand, expanding its business, and developing professional relationships with government agencies and HR business associations. She has over 30 years of work experience. I mean, 30 years Achal has been in the industry. Prior to joining SHRM in 2011, she was the managing director for Kelly India operations, vice president for GE, and country manager for Polaroid India. A truly amazing trait about you, Achal, that all your colleagues tell me is the fact that you have achieved so much in the industry, but you're so down to earth and so grounded. So, it's really wonderful to have you here. Thank you so much, Achal.
In that context, I would say there's always glass half full and half empty. So, right now I'm still glass half full.
That's really wonderful that you put it across like that, Achal. So, Achal, I mean, you've
I
been 30
always
years in
look,
the industry.
you know,
Yeah.
you always aspire for to achieve more. There are many more achievements, you know, and there are many more women who are doing very well. And you know, if you will come to our SHRM conference, you will see a 6-year-old opening our conference, and you see her, and everybody would say, "Oh wow, what a little girl, and what an achievement." So, you know, it is always good to be one of the best trait of a leader is a humility, and we should always be humble, like you are.
Oh, that's so nice. Coming from you, it means a lot, Achal. So, Achal, how has your journey been, in the technology industry? If you can just tell us, and our audience.
Okay, so you know, I am not a techie, but I am a great admirer for techie. I use technology all the time, and that is where I would say humility helps, because I'm always learning from my younger colleagues in the office. You know, I didn't know, means in our time, when there was telex machine and typewriters, when we started fax, and you know, means to the audience, specifically to the younger audience, if they are listening to it, they would say how outdated Achal is. Those were the times when we were working, you know. There used to be post boxes and letters used to be posted, but now everything is instant. So my learning is from my younger colleagues, the Twitter world, the social media world. You have to be really be mindful about your Q's and P's, because I do not know how what I say can be interpreted, tweeted, and I have to be very careful. And I will just give you an example. I just commented on our president's election, and I posted something, and somebody said, "Oh, no, I should not be saying something because I'm CEO of SHRM." So you know, you need to be extremely cautious and careful in this digital age and digital world, because how your words would be interpreted, you need to be careful about. So that is what technology has done to you. Is it has fastened your speed. Was like really bad thing to have happened, but COVID has increased our speed of work by taken us 10, which would have taken us 10 years to learn. We have learned it in 2 years. So that is what is the positive side of COVID, and I'm a born optimist, you know, which is a fact, because what HR has done in like 1 month, means moment Prime Minister announced we are all working from home, bingo, everybody was shifted, and non-stop it switch on, switch off, and work from home was done seamlessly for all the organizations. The Paytms were active, Google Pay was active, and you know, and I would say, uh, to that effect, the foresight, the Indian administration, and kudos to our Prime Minister. And I would say, one of the presentation which we did at our tech conference, which was done by my friend, I call him my friend now, Sharad, CEO of iSpirit, that India is going to be the most digitized country. He had given it at Davos like 5 years back. India is the most digitized country much before 5, because even the rickshawala is taking money on Paytm or Google Pay or everything. So this is what is the technology world. And now, you know, your question, which is how has perception towards women and technology changed over years? And I would say women are much more technologically savvy. This is just a perception that women are not technologically savvy. When we look at the hardcore facts, in India, 36% of females are in tech world. I think so. That would be, if I'm not wrong, would be the highest number of female workforce across the globe. 36%.
That's great,
in the
Achal.
technology world.
Absolutely.
In the techie space, 36%. And I'm not counting the, means the grandmothers using. I mean, I have a friend whose mother is like 99 years old, and I can learn how to. We were at his place, and we were still struggling with our iPad. And she said, "अरे मुझे दिखाओ ना, मैं बताती हूँ कैसे फाइल को ट्रांसफर करते हैं." 99-year-old. So women in technology are damn good. It is just our own perception that women don't understand technology. Women are good in everything.
Absolutely, absolutely. And
My
we
women bias.
so we need more women like
That is my
you.
women bias.
That's great.
If
I
they
mean,
want to do it, but sorry.
you are
Let's
very passionate. No, that's great, Achal. Thank you for, making it so positive. And, it's a very positive view, which I really love, coming from you. So, Achal, you already mentioned what your thoughts are about the diversity in the tech industry. However, what more needs to be done? I mean, are there enough leaders? You interact with so many companies on a daily basis, and mostly from the IT world and, even other manufacturing and things like that. Are there enough women leaders, and what more needs to be done to encourage more women in leadership levels?
So, there are enough and more leaders in most of the companies, and companies are also putting in lot of effort to encourage women. And India is, I would say, I'm a very passionate Indian, and India is a very, very advanced country in this space. First of all, if you look at it, I'm just going in the ancient thing, all our god and goddess, not god so much, but goddesses are ladies, whether it is goddess Lakshmi, Saraswati, Kali. So we are generally very, very respectful of women. That keep it beside, but companies like whether it is, you take it, Mindtree, ANZ, Tech Mahindra, all these companies, even including, I would say, Reliance, Aditya Birla Group, Tata's, even our public sector companies like Indian Oil, ONGC, they are doing lot of, I'm just talking right now, I'm just talking about multinationals, do lot of effort. But Indian companies, public sector companies, we are running women empowerment programs for them. Because what happens with women actually is they themselves make a choice. One is at home, it is always taught to a woman that tum zyada mat bolo. Generally, I'm saying, you should be calmer. You're what I'm just choosing a word. You should be quieter and zyada come on time. They will never ask the guy, the brother, you should be home by this time. But there is always embargo on women. Sham ko jaldi ghar aa jana, ya kitne baje tak aaoge. So these are some taboos which are there for women. Once she gets married, she needs to adjust in their in-laws' home. Never a guy is asked that you need to adjust with your in-laws' home, or you need to adjust with a times are changing, but it doesn't happen. But once a child is born, and I have seen, when I am in various 30 years of experience, I have seen it is always woman which needs to adjust with the kid, and she will take a second seat in our career. Now, that is where the woman's career takes a break, and coming back, she has to take, when she comes back, she cannot negotiate herself, because she comes with the weakness that I'm coming back, and okay, whatever is there, I will take it. So she's not able to negotiate. So that is why the second inning comes, and they are not able to negotiate. So there are a lot of organizations which are there bringing back women, and there is lot of, one is the organization which is saying second inning women ke liye start karenge, and there are organizations which are saying why second inning, why women should take a break. No, Prime Minister Modi has given 6 months maternity leave, which is extremely good. But there are a lot of organizations which have opened crutches in the offices, and a lot of support is being provided for the mothers who have small kids. And there are females who are also very strong, and they are saying, no, can women have it all? Yes, women can have it all, provided she has the will and the support system from the family to have it all. Like there are women like Indra Nooyi, like HSBC, Naina Nal Kedwai. They're all in India, who have Indian women whose husbands have taken a second seat, and they have done well. But I'll also give you an example of Anuranjita Kumar, who has written a book, Women Can Have It All. She's a great banker, and we launched her book at our conference. She's doing so well. Anita Bhogle, Harsha Bhogle's wife. Then Falguni Nair. And I'm giving names all of Indian women who have really Alpana Parida. These are all Indian women who have kids, who are happily married, but yet they have pursued their career, and they said, okay, and their families, they have supported. If they want it, they can have it all. That would be my take on it. I hope I've been able to answer your question.
Absolutely.
But organizations are also making an effort. Means I know we are doing this program for Indian Oil, and they're really supporting Mindtree, ANZ, Tech Mahindra. There are a lot of, and even they are doing a lot of these programs to support the women, which is an added advantage. One is women need to be strong, but added advantage is if organizations also put in this effort and support them. No, don't take a break. Don't go in for the second inning. It motivates them, and that is also happening. So there is both the things which are happening, which will help women to get their right, I would say, seat which they rightfully deserve. They need a little bit of a push.
Yes, that's so true, Achal, what you said about women, capable of having it all. So now that you have mentioned the kind of obstacles that women face, and they still, come ahead in their careers, what would you say are some of the, strong traits of women because of which they should be, entrusted with leadership opportunities?
I would say everybody has a leadership in themselves. For me, the great leader was my mother, who never stepped out and never worked. But she, in her own way, was a leader. Whatever she wanted, she was a passive-aggressive lady. And in a subtle way, she would always get whatever she wanted. And she was a big motivator for me. And, if you look at a housewife, within her limited means, she would always she's a great finance manager. She knows. She's not a chartered accountant, but she knows kahan par paise bachane hai, kaise ghar ka kharcha chalana hai. She will hire the right maid. She will fire the person in the right time in an appropriate way. So, all those skills are there. In women, they come it naturally. And they're such good multitaskers. All they need is, I will just tell you, all they need is, yes, I can do it. That is missing. They don't have the will. That will is missing. You know what? I will be honest with you. Whenever I am, till date, whenever I'm going on a stage, I will always have a butterfly in my stomachs. I'm honestly confessing in whosoever would be watching this interview. I will always practice my speech. I'm giving tips, and I would always say, yes, I can do it. I can, howsoever difficult the task is, I would say there is no word does not exist in my dictionary. So these are the simple tips which I follow. I will go in front of the mirror. Yes, Achal, you can do it. And I am a born optimist person. I say, koi bhi pessimism mere dimag mein laega, I will say, no, I don't want pessimist. And that is That is what is the greatest thing. Now, little effort women will always have to make. Now, you will see in a boardroom, and these are tips I'm giving to the women. In a boardroom, there would be 10 board members, there would be only 2 women. Obviously, there would be a huddle, all the men will huddle, and 2 women are left behind. You will have to make an effort and make a mark. You will have to speak up to get heard. That effort woman will have to make. Now, another thing which I'm just giving a tip, what is woman needs to do, you need to know the subject extremely well for you to be observed. That is, you need to be subject matter expert and you will be heard. So these are simple things. Be prepared for a meeting, be assertive, be observed, be noticed, and speak for yourself. Because generally we women will never ever negotiate about our salaries. Never. So these are the simple steps which we need to take to get observed. And yes, we can do it. Does this make sense?
Absolutely, Achal. Thank you so much. You're very true when you say that, women should have more faith in themselves, because most of us have imposter syndromes. Achal, you mentioned
A
your
role
mother
model.
being a role model for you. So is there any other role model that you were looking up to, in your career? Because when I heard about you, and when I hear about other women also, I mean, for me, when I came to know, I met your colleagues, I felt like she should be somebody I should be idolizing. So was there anybody like that for you?
In different times of life, there has been different role models, I would say. But for me, means at every step, instead of, using big names, I have always looked at small role models. Like, means I will just tell you, my parents have a great influence on me. Like, when I would travel uh, on the road, and a kid would come and beg on the street, my dad would always tell me, we would always keep a lot of sweets, toffees and chocolates in our car. Instead of giving money, we would give chocolates and this thing to the kids. And my father would always remind that you should always have gratitude, that you are not the person, the street on the kid, street here. So you should be grateful for that. So, means like I was telling you, when I saw that 6-year-old who's going to open our conference, there is so much to learn from that little girl. Then I know, so that is like, I have a role model, a street photographer who had made it to the world's top photographer. So he was picked up from the my Meera Nayar's Street Foundation runs, and they pick up children from a street and they educate them. And from that, Auntie Nayar is a role model for me. She's a 95-year-old and she's still picking up street children and making them something. She has a purpose. She doesn't need to do that. She's a role model for me.
It's a very heartening message that you gave, Achal, that you can have role models across all age groups. It's not just at the top. I mean, you can have a 6-year-old role model. That's truly a different take on role models. Yeah.
So you can have 6-year-old model, you can have Google role models and you say, oh, यही बड़े लोग ही role model हैं. छोटे लोग ज़्यादा बड़े role model होते हैं, Means I have a 23-year-old maid. She came from a village and she's studying and she is taking care of her parents. She's supporting her parents. She's helping her sisters getting married. She's a role model for me.
That's truly amazing. That's wonderful, Achal. Thank you for sharing this with us. So, Achal, you have, told us so much. I mean, if I could quickly ask you, what are some of the policies that, are there that encourage women in your company, which you think should be an example for all companies? What are some gender inclusive policies that we should have in India?
Okay, so according to the what makes good leader, characteristics such as honesty, intelligence, compassion, and innovation rank quite high on the rating scale. When comparing with these traits between men and women they say scored high in most of these categories. Hence, more and more organization should entrust women with leadership roles. That is what the research says. But you know what? I would say SHRM generally believes in guiding principle, and we have, and those guiding in principles are gender neutral, gender neutral, which men and women should follow. And that is what I would repeat. The guiding principle is that we should always have a bold purpose. The purpose should be absolutely bold, because think big. So the number one is bold purpose. You should always hire people who are smart and curious. It means don't hire dull people. So when you're hiring, make smart. You should always be collaborative, because it is always, as they say, flock of birds reach the destination much faster than bird alone. So don't think that you will alone reach one place. So collaborative, and be always work in a team. So be always collaborative. You should always be accountable for your actions. So these are our guiding principle written on our heart. Be always be accountable on what you are doing, result oriented. Because if as a leader or as a even manager or as a whatever level you are, you should be accountable. And if you are a leader, you have to be accountable for your action. You can't say कि मेरे subordinate ने ये काम नहीं किया, so हमारा काम नहीं हुआ. So you be accountable. And what I was saying is we say that follow the SHRM guiding principle. And what are the guiding principle? I said bold purpose, smart and curious, flexible and agility, which covers all. They are gender neutral, but if you have those, excellence and accountability. And the last one is collaborative and openness. Be collaborative, but be open also. Don't be transparent. And last one is push back to move forward. You should, whether you are man or woman, push back, learn to push back. And once you have pushed back and once you have come to consensus, then you learn to move forward. Then you don't say मैंने ये कहा था और उसके बाद तुमने मेरी बात नहीं सुनी. Then you are one team. So we believe in this 6. We said that guiding principle should not be a big list. It should come in 5 fingers. But we added push back to move forward. That was specifically for women, because women should speak up. That they should have a voice. And that is why, because generally women don't like to speak, we said no, we will add this so that women should have a voice. They can't say, because generally they are the quieter version. So they will push back to move forward, and we will be one team. So we generally believe in the 6 guiding principle. And I say that to all the organizations that they should follow. They should have, everybody has their principles which they follow, but they are quite universal, and they work very, very well for us. And we stand by our guiding principle. It is written on my heart, and that's what it is. And they do well.
That was so wonderful to hear, Achal. I mean, you gave us some really, really unique insights, which I've never heard before, into women empowerment. And thank you so much for that. So, Achal, if there is a small girl who's watching your interview today, she's hoping to make it big in this world, is there one message that you would like to give her?
I would say just listen to her heart. Listen to your heart. You don't, big or small, whatever gives you happiness, you should do it. That is more important than becoming big. If you are happy, you will become big in any case. So that for me, that would be the right message. And I would also say that believe in yourself. How many times you fall. It does not matter, but stand up for whatever you believe in yourself. That is very, very important. It does not matter. You can fall 10 times, but stand up with courage and conviction in what you believe, and be happy and be positive.
Thank you so much, Achal. I mean, I must say that my spirits were a little low because of my health. Before I came into this interview, your optimism is infectious. Now I'm feeling so much better. And I'm sure our audience will feel so much better after watching your interview. I know how busy you are. Thank you so much for taking time out for us. I truly
I'm
appreciate
not busy at all, never.
it. We
Thank
find
you
it very hard
so
to.
much.
Thank
Supriya, thanks for your time.